Hello, good morning, good afternoon, wherever it is that you're coming from in the world. Be very, very welcome to this special bonus session that we have today with our guest vision coach, Irena Castle. Irena Castle comes from the Czech Republic, but she lives in Ohio in the United States. She's a vision educator, vision coach. She has a special interest in sports. And she's the creator of a very good tool for vision improvement practices and sports. So she will tell us about it, and she will tell us also about how we can expand our vision. But let me say a little bit about my experience of Irena Castle. We've met in person after years of collaborating in New York in the conference of vision education of the American Association of Vision Educators. And she's also one of the co-authors of the anthology, A New World of Seeing, Practice, and Perspectives of Natural Vision Improvement. Her chapter is delightful. I really advise it to everyone. And we've also collaborated in online summits about natural vision improvement, and her talks are always very much appreciated. We've collaborated also with other groups of the ClearSight Method, and people love her talks and her tools. So here we have her for today. Irena, thank you very much for coming to speak to our community once more. I'm looking forward to what you're going to teach us this time. And there's a lot of people coming, so I'm very excited to see how this goes. You probably want to say a few more words about yourself and how you got involved with natural vision improvement and the techniques you're going to show us today.
Yeah, thank you, Ainhoa, very much for having me back. I am very excited because today I'm going to talk yet again about the topic that is just so close to my heart, something that I'm very passionate about. And I hope that I will be able to pass that to your students and get them excited about those kind of topics, right? So I don't want to go too far ahead. Like Ainhoa said, yes.
Yeah, before we continue, so two things. Could you put thumbs up if you can hear as well? Somebody's saying that there's a problem with sound. I want to know.
I see Sarah Charlotte saying good.
So it's working. And the second, if you are in the possibility to put the camera on and we can see your face, we love it because then we have some nonverbal communication and we can see how things are landing. But also we love to see you because you matter. So it would be really lovely to have you on camera if that's possible. And this being said, all yours, Irena.
Oh, very good. Yeah, thank you. If you guys are able to show the camera, especially later on during the session, because I will have a chance to kind of check and make sure that what we'll be doing is performing to the best of your abilities and that I am explaining everything correctly. All right, so just a couple words about me though. As Ainhoa indicated, I started my practice of vision development in sports. And it was because of my very young sons at the time. They were playing soccer. And if you have seen little children play soccer, it's almost like tunnel vision on steroids. Right, the kids are just completely focused on the ball. They are looking down at their feet, and that's the only thing that they perceive, right? And they forget everything about the other players. They forget that there is the field, the goal, or that they are interested in is the ball itself. And so at the time with my husband, we started thinking about what can we do to really engage them in better spatial awareness. And that was the start of everything. And so I came up with a tool and a process for sports vision development that can develop any visual skills for sports, but it started with the development of spatial awareness, peripheral vision, and all those skills that are necessary for grounding the players and making them more effective and efficient on the field. And then as I was working with athletes, I came across natural vision improvement. And while my vision has been very, very good all my life, I have to say that I was absolutely fascinated by the fact that vision can be improved and that there is a great kind of partnership or the great transition of what I was doing with the athletes, great application of what I was doing with the athletes in natural vision improvement. And so I studied and got certified after several years. And as I was learning natural vision improvement, I was very frustrated with all the different tools that we need. And the tools are all needed and they do fantastic job for us, right? Because they help the eyes to do exactly what the eyes need to do. They work with the brain, with the visual organs, with the optic nerve, all of that. But unfortunately, sometimes they break, they fall off our face, they take a lot of time to make. And while I am pretty artsy crafty, I don't exactly enjoy it. And all that frustration kind of made me work further on the tools that I had already developed and make adjustments and develop additional functionality into the program that I already had. And I came up with a complete system, a tool that was developed for natural vision improvement specifically.
Can I say something here?
Yeah.
So thank you for mentioning this. And I know you're going to present this tool after your class, the class that you're going to offer to us. This has been a question that we've got so many times this week from, especially from group number 12 that is just starting now. Like, where do I find the stuff? And if I have to make it, how do I make it? And of course, you could buy or create your tools, but if you want to make your life simpler and save time, yeah, Irena's tools are really amazing. And again, you don't have to buy them either if you don't want to, but the talk is going to be interesting regardless. So all yours again. Thank you, Irena.
Yeah, of course, of course. So yeah, so long story short, I started working with Dr. Ainhoa and other vision teachers, and we decided to kind of make the learning easier for as many students as possible. And so that's one of the things that I'm going to show you today. But the biggest reason why I am here today is because I would like to talk to you about the vision field, what it looks like, which if you have been in natural vision improvement for a long time, it may be a repetition, but if you are part of this group who just started, it may be new information. You're not going to get a doctor's degree in eye anatomy, I can tell you that, but you will get enough information to make you understand why different parts of vision are important, what they are, how big they are, and what you can do to develop them, right? And I know that most of you are here because you want to see clearly, right? That's what we all want. But in order to see clearly, there are different elements of vision that need to be addressed. And that's what we'll be talking about today. Okay, so let me go ahead and dive right in. I will start by sharing a presentation. And we will start with inhibitors of natural vision improvement. Right? So you all decided that you wanted to treat your vision, that you wanted to work on your vision naturally, and you want to do it in a way that's as efficient, effective as possible so that you would reach your goal quickly. And so in order to do so, it's good to be aware of a couple things that may stand in your way. The first one, and I mentioned it with my kids, is tunnel-like vision. It doesn't mean that you have to have tunnel-like vision, but it comes with your focus on central vision only. Okay, meaning that you are forgetting that vision is a composition of various visual skills that are performed by different parts of the eye and different parts of the brain. Okay, and you would only be working on making sure that you see clearly, and that would be your only focus. Okay, so we will be addressing that today, and at the end of the day, when you leave, you will no longer have that inhibitor in front of you. The next one is visual distractions. Okay, visual distractions are things that keep you from learning the visual skills that you want to learn in the most efficient way. Just imagine that you're trying to learn or write a book, for example, and every 3 minutes somebody comes and starts interrupting you, right? You wouldn't get very far. So in natural vision improvement, as well as in the learning of any other skills that you would ever try to learn, it's always great to have the right environment, right? And that is what we will be talking about today as well. And finally, if you decide that you want to, let's say, play an instrument, you need to have the right tools. You need to have the instrument, you have to have the music sheets, the notes, the stand for the notes, the metronome to keep you on time, right? And that is what you need for one skill. If you start learning a language, for example, right, you want to make sure that you have the right textbook, you have a teacher perhaps, you have somebody to have a conversation with. That could be considered tools. When you decide to learn natural vision improvement, you also need tools. And just like Dr. Ainhoa said, you can make them yourself, or you can get inspired by what we have at Overbound, and you will learn what those different tools are for, and then you make a decision for yourself. All right, so let's begin. What's happening here? This is a blank slide. Here.
It looks like it. There.
Yeah, sorry, it's working
That's
now.
okay. Yes.
Sorry about that.
All
right, very good. So today, firstly, we will work on understanding the whole eye, what it looks like, what are the parts of the eye, and how they work together. So on this slide, you see that there are two major parts of our vision field. The central one, the blue one, is showing us central view. And central view is defined in different ways. Sometimes it defined very, very narrowly as an angle of, let's say, 3 to 6, maybe to 10 degrees of total width. Sometimes it's defined a little bit more broadly, but regardless, it is the part of the vision that is in the middle, in the center, and that is the part of the vision that we use for clear seeing. And I will address it in more detail. And then we have this other part of vision that is on the side of the eye, really kind of anything that is on the side of the central vision to either side, to upper, to down, right direction. All of these parts are considered to be peripheral vision. And peripheral vision cannot necessarily see clearly. It doesn't provide us with clarity, but it has a lot of functions. So what are these functions for both sides of the vision? Central vision provides us with clarity. We use central vision to be able to read. We use central vision to see in daylight. We use central vision to look at objects, to track moving objects, to recognize faces, right? Anything that we do in life that we want to see in detail, we need central vision for. And like I said, that is your general objective, to improve your central vision so that you could see clearly from any distance. Very up close when you read, as well as far away when you just look at what's in front of you. The other part, the peripheral part of the vision, is focused on seeing movement and seeing in the dark. It does not necessarily provide us with clarity, but it provides the central vision with context. And the context is very important for central vision to function. Okay? And so while we cannot see clearly through peripheral vision, it provides us the ability to see clearly at various distances. And it's responsible for spatial orientation, for grounding us in the space, for our safety, while we drive, while we walk down the stairs, right? All of that is important, and that is what peripheral vision is for. right? If you're in the car and you want to pass another car or you need to switch lanes, peripheral vision is what keeps you safe. Not only doesn't tell you whether there is another car coming, but also it allows you to see any possible changes in the situation as you start moving. All right. So now when you know that we have central vision and peripheral vision, let's have a look at the total field of view. So we are measuring field of view in two ways, horizontally as well as vertically, right? Up and down. So when we look at the horizontal part of our field of view, it should be somewhere between 200 and 220 degree in overall angle width. Okay, you can see that the central vision is very small. That's here in the middle, right? And then everything else on the sides is your peripheral vision. Okay, there is this area that's marked over here. It's 120 degrees. That is called the binocular vision. That is an angle that is actually seen by both eyes at the same time, and that is also the angle that provides us with 3D vision, right? We need both eyes in order to see great depth, to see 3D. And so in the binocular part of the field of view is where we can do that. The very left and very right part of the field of view are monocular. They can only be seen either with the left eye or with the right eye. All right? Now, when we look at the field of view from the vertical perspective, right, then we're looking again at an angle of central vision, which is roughly about 60 degrees. But then we have the upper periphery, and then we have the lower periphery. And so the total field of view on the vertical side is somewhere around 130, 135 degrees. Okay? Now, you will be learning throughout your class everything about central vision. So many different techniques to ignite different elements that drive to central vision. So today I will be actually focusing on the periphery, right? On the peripheral part of the view. So over here, as you see, most of our vision field is peripheral, right? We talked about very narrow central vision, and then the rest is periphery. And we talked about the outer periphery on the left side, on the right side, upper and lower periphery. But we sometimes even divide it further. We divide it into physical and sensorial periphery. Physical being near periphery, mid periphery, and far periphery. And as the names indicate, right, near periphery is very near the central vision, mid periphery further away, and then far periphery all the way towards the temples of the eyes and almost to where your ears are, right? All the way to the 200 to 220 degrees. That is if your peripheral vision is good. And then we have something that we call the sensorial peripheral view. That is what is not truly accessible by the eyes, right? By the physical organ. But what happens is if you develop your peripheral vision and spatial awareness to a very high degree, you become capable of sensing moving objects that are not within your anatomical visual field. All right. So this is great because you start sensing people approaching from the back, from the sides, even when you don't see them, and it makes you look. And again, as soon as you're able to do that, you are more safe. Now, we're not going to work on the sensorial part today at all. We will be focused on the physical part of peripheral vision, but I just wanted you to know. All right. So last few pieces of the anatomy. And that is what actually drives peripheral vision and central vision. We have in the back of the eye, on the retina, we have two types of visual receptors. They are called the cones and the rods. And the cones in this picture are shown with this purple area, right? And the cones are the visual receptors that are capable of seeing clarity, detecting light, right? And they are the visual receptors that make it possible for us to see absolutely clearly. And then we have other visual receptors. They are called the rods. And those are the ones that are capable of seeing in the dark and detecting movement. Now I'm talking about this because I want to show you over here the difference of their location and their concentration. Okay, so you can see over here on the left side, and this is an example of a left eye. Here where the big purple circle is, that is where a kind of element or part of the retina that's called the fovea centralis is located. Okay, and it is just this tiny, tiny little spot that has an enormous concentration of those visual cones, right? So here at the 0 is the peak of this purple chart. And that is a spot that can see with absolute clarity. And it has certain implications in how we use it and what it means for our central vision, right? But I just want you to see it. And then you can see that as soon as we get away from this fovea centralis, from this very, very tiny spot that provides us with absolute clarity, the concentration of the cones goes down and it stays at a pretty low level at the rest of the eye, okay? For the rods, it is a little bit different. There are still a lot of them in the near periphery, but the majority of the rods are in the outer side of the eyes, right? And because they provide so much context for us and because they drive our ability to see clearly, it is important that they are very active and that they are very present in the seeing process. Okay. So here are the rods. All right. Now, how do we activate the rods? How do we develop peripheral vision? The best way to develop peripheral vision is with the process that is called selective vision obstruction. Selective vision obstruction is a master technique. That means that it goes across various other techniques. I would say the majority of techniques in natural vision improvement. And what it does is that it allows the visual system, the eyes and the brain, to focus or pay better attention to a part of the eye that is being trained. Okay. So what we do specifically to train peripheral vision is that we cover or obstruct the central vision, and then we focus our attention on what is left, what is uncovered, which is the side of the eyes. Okay, how do we do that? Well, we need some sort of occluders, right? And in the emails that led to this session, we asked you to prepare something that you can cover your central vision with. And it can be regular Post-its, right? Different sizes. It can be a piece of paper that you can tape on your forehead, or you know, in my world, I use the tool that I have developed for this purpose. And so I have shields that I place on my face, and I can use them instead of these Post-its or other tools. Okay, but because you are new over here and I don't believe that very many of you actually have the trainer, I will be showing today's demonstration mostly using the Post-its so that you can follow with me and you can learn and get great results. All right? Very good. So with that said, let's go ahead and begin. All right, so go ahead and prepare your Post-its or any other covering that you can be using. Okay, if you have the eyesight trainer, I suggest that you would be using shields 2 or 3. But if you've never done peripheral vision development, make sure that your shield is not too wide. It is quite a bit of an adjustment to cover your central vision, right? You don't want to do anything to your visual system to kind of put it in shock. So always start in a way that is easy. Okay. Now, friends, once we start covering our central vision, you're not going to see me. So I will first explain what we will be doing in this session, and I would like you to look at me, and only then will we go ahead and walk through the technique. Okay? All right. So first of all, we are going to start by exploring our current field of view. How wide is it, right? I said that it can be up to 220 degrees, which is very wide. It's almost like all the way to where your ears are. Not everybody has that, right? These days, with us all working on computers and doing so much with our central vision, it is quite normal to only have a field of view of 160 to 180 degrees, which is unfortunate, right? And so that's what we will be working on today. So let's go ahead and first explore our field of view. I would like you to either stand or sit comfortably. It is actually easier to do all of these techniques standing, but it is up to you. Okay, if you prefer sitting, you can sit. I will sit only for the purpose of you being able to see me properly. Okay, but it is better to stand. Now, be comfortable and go ahead and find a spot on a wall in front of you that you can look at. And I want you to just look at it softly, nicely, but not move the eyes to the left or to the right. Just kind of look forward. And I want you to notice the last object that you are aware of on your right side, either on a wall or outside or depending on where you are, right? Just kind of take your arm and start pointing until you no longer see your arm, until you reach that last object that you can be aware of while looking forward, okay? And once you have it, go ahead and look at where your hand is pointing to. Okay, and just remember exactly where you are standing and remember what you were pointing at. Okay, very good. And now look forward again. And let's do the same thing for the left side. Okay, again, kind of like take your arm or just notice what the last object is that you are aware of and point at it and then look. Okay, and remember where that object, what that object was. Okay, so that's your starting point. There is no judgment. It doesn't matter what it is. I just want you to be aware of it. All right. Now I will explain the technique that we will be practicing. So there will be multiple movements that we will be doing to activate our peripheral vision. We will be using our arms and our hands to do it. And because sometimes arms and hands get very tired, you can work with one arm and one hand and then switch them around as needed. It is best to use them both at the same time, but if you can't, it does not matter because it will take a few minutes and you may get a little tired.
Irena,
Yes.
can I ask a question? I see a couple people that are wearing the glasses for this practice, and I would imagine that we would want to do this preferably without glasses. Most people
Oh,
are.
absolutely. Yes, very good point. Thank you, Ainhoa.
Yeah, so Pete and I was seeing somebody
Right,
else.
so you will be taking your glasses off, but if you need to see me while I explain the instructions, right? If you can't see me otherwise, please put them on for just a moment. I will explain the instructions and then we will begin, okay? So you will have to be making some sort of movement with your hands and your arms. That is because the rods are the ones that are responsible for peripheral vision and they are able to see movement, right? They don't necessarily see clearly, but they are very good in detecting movement, and that is what activates them. You can move your hands in any way you want. You can do like this, you can rotate, you can just do a little flapping, you can, I don't know, whatever movement you do, you can just maybe move your fingers at a time, whatever it is that you will want to do, and you can switch it around, okay? Now, we will begin with activating the horizontal periphery on the left and right side, and you will first be moving your fingers, your hands right very close to your face. And then I will be asking you to kind of stretch your arms. So you will be moving, you will keep moving the hands, moving the fingers, and you will stretch the arms all the way, but you will keep them in the area where your eyes can detect that movement, when you're aware of it, okay? Because there is no judgment, if you have to move the arms kind of forward in order to be able to detect the movement, that is quite okay, all right? And then we will be bringing them back and then further out and back multiple times. Then I will ask you to activate the lower periphery. And so you will be moving your hands right under your chin at first, or almost like under your nose, around your mouth. And then you will be going down, 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 as low as you can. And again, if you have to extend your arms a little bit further forward, right? Just like that. You know, my camera's acting up. You would go ahead and you would do that. Okay, and then we will finish again with upper periphery, right above your eyes, above your forehead, and you will make sure that you are aware of the movement. Now, throughout that whole process, you will be looking forward nicely and softly, easily into that shield that will be covering your central vision. When we are done with this general activation of your peripheral side of the eyes, we will move into an expansion of your visual field. And the expansion of the visual field will be done like this. You will place your arms in a 90-degree angle or something like that. It doesn't have to be exact, right? And then you will move them backwards. You will start moving your fingers and you will find that area where you no longer see the movement, right? Just that boundary where you see the hands and then they disappear. What you will be doing is you will be kind of moving your shoulder blades together like that, right? And then for a few moments, we will be going back and forth over that boundary, moving into view, out of the view, into view, out of the view, because what you want to achieve is your eyes being eager to see more and more of the hands as they move further and further back, okay? And then we will relax, and then I will show you a couple other ways that you can use to activate your peripheral vision if you want some variations. We will not necessarily practice them, but I want you to see some other ways of doing it. All right? So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are ready, right, go ahead and place a shield on your face, right? The Post-it, whatever you want. Make sure it is not too wide, but it has to be wide enough that when you look forward, you are not necessarily seeing the object that you're looking at, okay?
And by now, remove your glasses, please.
And by now, remove your glasses, right? Ainhoa is showing you kind of where, you know, that's probably the most narrow shield that you can use, right? You need to make sure that your central vision is not active, that when you look forward, you're actually looking into the shield. Okay, I will call it the shield, but it's the Post-it or card or whatever you have. All right, very good. And now take a couple nice deep inhale and exhales. Relax your neck, relax your shoulders, shake your arms and hands because they will be doing some work. And then go ahead and start creating movement right next to the shield, right next to the eyes on either side of your face. And I will just make sure that I see what's happening. Very good. Make sure the movement is happening right next to your eyes. Right next to your eyes. Right? You want your shield on. Ainhoa is showing it. I will be taking mine on and off just so that I can look at you. Right? And then go ahead and slowly extend your arms and make sure that you're still aware of the movement that your hands are creating. And then move your hands back towards the face. Change your movement however you want. Extend the arms out and bring them in. The movement can be fast and it can be a little slower. Just do what you can. There is no right or wrong. Breathe. Don't hold your breath. Right? Sometimes when we do things that are new and we're focused on them, we forget to breathe. So keep breathing. The eyes need oxygen. And move the hands close to your face. Stay there for a few moments and then slowly extend the arms out. And then bring them back in.
You can also blink.
Softly look forward, right? Softly look forward into the shield. And if your arms are hurting, relax one arm and work with one arm, right? One arm, one hand on one side of your face. Do a couple repetitions of extending and coming back. Right? The other arm is relaxing, and then let's do the other one. Extend to the side. Very good. Yes, very good, very good. And then you can bring them back in, and then you can extend the arms slightly up, right? So not just away from you, but a little bit up and back, like in a diagonal. Imagine a diagonal direction. Very good. Right, and a little bit down. The other diagonal. And back to your face. And away and back. And now we will make it a little easier so you can rest and move towards the lower periphery. Okay, so start moving the hands under your chin or right below your mouth. Right, and you're still looking forward into the shield. Your shoulders are relaxed. Breathe, blink. And then begin moving the hands down, down, down towards your waist. And even further if you can. And it's okay if you extend the arms a little bit in the forward area, right? They don't have to be right by your waist. They can be a little bit forward. As long as you can see.
Yawning is allowed in the process too.
Right, right. Yes, and if you're too tired, please rest. I will continue, but you can always come back to the recording and do it again, right? Very good. So let's do it a few more times. Hands right under your chin and then down towards your waist, looking straight forward. Do not peek to the right or to the left. Breathe. I know. Almost done, I promise. We will take a break. All right, bring the hands back to the sides and up above your forehead. And again, if you have to, just move one arm for the upper lower periphery. It's actually easier, right? And then switch the arms and hands. Let one rest. I think you guys didn't expect to get a physical exercise today. Very good. All right, so go ahead and relax for a moment. You can keep the shield on, but let the arms rest and just breathe. And think about, for just a moment, think about the experience that you just had. Think about how much your eyes were kind of being willing to see things, right? How interesting it was to not see with your central vision, but still being very aware of everything else. Few deep breaths. Very nice. Very nice. And let's move into the last part. Okay. So again, you can do it with each arm separately. You don't have to do it with both together if your arms are tired. But if they are not, go ahead and put your arms and hands into that 90-degree angle and just move your fingers or the hands a little bit as you move your arms backwards, your shoulder blades coming together, so that you discover that line where your hands start to disappear, right? You see them and then you don't. You see them and then you don't. And start moving your hands over that line, back and forth, back and forth. And let's do just one. Your eyes are still looking forward, gently into the shield, right? So do just one eye. And then when your arm gets tired, do the other eye. Breathe, blink. It's okay if your breathing is now a little heavy. It is a little bit of exercise. And a couple more times. And the other arm. Right? We're like really trying to push that boundary of the current vision field. Very good. Excellent. And right before we end, go ahead and bring the eyes the hands right next to the eyes. Give them very last dose of peripheral activity. Shake your hands right next to the eyes and relax. Very good. Now go ahead and take the shield down, right? And gently adjust back to your central vision. Okay, just kind of blink your eyes, look around a little bit, just adjust to the light, right? You can stretch, you can yawn, whatever you want.
Moan and sigh and blink and
Good. Yes. Very nice. And now put yourself back to that position at which you were starting. And look again at that spot in front of you. And take your right arm, move the fingers a little bit, and find that last thing, find that line where the fingers are starting to disappear on the right side. And then look where they are pointing. Right?
wow.
It is quite likely that your arms are opening, right? It's moving backwards versus where you were starting. And let's do the same thing for the left side, right? Look forward, find the last spot that you're aware of that's within your current vision field, and then look, right? And chances are that your arms used to be like this and suddenly they have opened more up, right? So at this point, I like to stop for a second and just kind of see some sort of reaction. And I don't know if we have chat that is open, but maybe we just do thumbs up for people who have been able to see some difference and who now feel like they have a larger visual field.
Yay. I could see quite a big shift, and I see people even putting out fireworks out there.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Now, for some people, it can be that the visual field expands more on one side than on the other, right? That is quite normal, and that gives you information. It tells you where. Well, first of all, it depends on how it started, right? But if it was about the same on the left side or on the end on the right side, and one opened up more than the other, then you know that perhaps one side needs a little bit more work, right? You can also try to do these things outdoors where the light is equal on both sides of your face, right? You're not facing the window with one side of you and the door with another. So there are other elements that play a role. But yeah, I am very excited that most of you are saying that you have seen improvement. And that is the power of selective vision obstruction, friends. Right? We decided to take away from our vision field, from our ability to see, and we put all of the attention to the part of the eye that we wanted to train. And look how easy it was, and how impactful and how fast. Right? I am not saying that every single vision scale is going to develop at that same speed, but you can see that many of them do when you create the right environment and when you really pay attention to a singular visual skill. So before I move forward, Ainhoa, would you like to add anything here?
So well, yes, I had to go away because the bell rang while you were giving the explanation, and guess what arrived? Actually,
Very good.
Irena had sent me something, and it just arrived like
Yes, some tools. Yes, I sent you some little gifts. So
yes. Anyway, so most people are saying that their visual field improved, some more, some less. And some people are saying that their eyes are more relaxed also. And this is very important.
nice.
Whether your visual field has changed or not, the fact that your eyes are more relaxed by doing this is a benefit in itself. When we activate our peripheral vision, our parasympathetic autonomous nervous system is feeling that we're safe. So being aware of the visual field causes relaxation, and relaxation also causes vision improvement. So this is also another facet that is interesting about the work that we just did with Irena. And there's a handful of people that have noticed that their visual field stayed the same or even became smaller. So maybe you'll want to address that at some point, because it's unusual, but I guess if it happened, it can happen.
Okay.
But in any case, both the awareness becoming bigger and the relaxation it causes in the eyes are benefits not just for the peripheral vision, but also for the central vision. They work.
And that is also why it is recommended that peripheral vision activation is done as part of kind of like the preparation for any visual training, right? Just like relaxation techniques, peripheral vision techniques help with the execution of the other techniques later on in training. Right? But let me address those couple people who have not seen the difference, right? Because it is possible. First of all, it depends on how good your vision field is to begin with, right? If you have a very wide visual field, it is a little bit harder to extend it. There is a limit to it, and you will see marginal differences. Your vision field should not really shrink. So if that has happened, I would just encourage you to try it a couple more times and just kind of see how you feel. And also make sure that you're not starting with a very wide shield. When we practice peripheral vision, right, we can start by really activating just the near periphery, and then the mid periphery, and then the far periphery. So in the tools I use, we have different sizes of shields. And I know that in Dr. Ainhoa's class, she recommends that you prepare several different sizes of the tools. Okay. And if you go with a shield that is too wide and your system is not ready for it, it can get scared, basically, right? It starts to feel like it is not safe because all of the vision that you're normally using is suddenly gone. And that is a little bit counterproductive. So make sure that you're starting with a very narrow shield. If it becomes a real problem, you can even keep the tiny little edges of your central vision open, right? And then you will progress because you will get accustomed to it and it will no longer feel scary and you will just kind of progress into better and better situation. Okay?
Yeah, when we do this with Post-its, my suggestion is to start folding a Post-it, right?
Absolutely.
So that it has the size between your pupils, more or less, yeah?
Yes.
So you can still see a lot, yeah? It's just a very narrow stripe that is taken away. And then you can add a full Post-it on the top of it, yes? And then as you advance, you could add 2 Post-its, like you can put them like this. Of course, Irena has solved this beautifully with her tool because she has like different sizes. I hope you can see them of the shields. So it starts really narrow with the butterfly shield that just got me in the in the post.
Yeah, that hasn't even launched yet.
Yes.
So I
And
don't
then
think we'll talk about that one much today, but
and then the standard ones have different sizes.
yeah.
If you want to do it with cardboard or with some elastic and you like sewing in tissues, so you could make different sizes. But again, I would advise that the first size, the smaller size, goes like pupil to pupil, more or less. Yes.
Yeah.
And one of our trained vision coaches that is participating today also is suggesting if your visual field became narrower, try doing first some palming. So you even more and then start again and probably you'll get different and better results.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. I think there's a question in the chat, somebody asking how they can order the glasses, and maybe you would want to put a link in, Ainhoa, but we will talk about that for sure so that you all know. Okay. All right. So I think that we can perhaps move forward. I think everybody's ready. All right. So I will go ahead and go back to the presentation. There we go. All right, so vision obstruction selectively covering the eyes increases the effectiveness of vision training techniques. You just experienced that. Now, let me tell you what's actually happening and why this is all happening. All right, so selective vision obstruction, again, meaning that we select an area of the eye that we cover, that we take vision away from so that we can focus on a different area of the eye. It helps us develop the desired visual skills without the distraction of the stimuli that we don't need. So had we kept the central vision open, we could have still performed all of those different techniques that we just did, but we wouldn't see the same impact because the eyes would be distracted by, the computer and the other things that we are seeing. It doesn't mean that it would be pointless, absolutely not, but you wouldn't see such a big impact and it would be more difficult for your eyes and the brain to focus on the task. All right. Now, what also happens is that when we do this, it develops a deeper connection between that unobstructed part of the eye. So in our case today, it was the peripheral part of the eye and the brain, right? We know that the majority of seeing is actually done in the brain. And so various different occlusions or obstructions help us create new neural pathways, new connections between the eyes and the brain and between the various parts of the eyes and the brain. And then also selective vision obstruction allows us to practice and learn visual skills with each eye separately. And I won't go into that too much. You will have plenty of explanation from Dr. Ainhoa about why this is important. Just know that the eyes can have different personalities, they can have different learning styles, and they really enjoy learning difficult skills on their own without the presence of the other eye. And then, of course, at some point, you have to bring them together.
It's like having twins or having two children. You, of course, will do family things all together, but you also want to make sure that you spend special time with each of your kids. And there's going to be more also in the ClearSight method, of course.
Yes, yes. Now, what conditions is selective vision obstruction good for, right? That's the question that everybody wants to know. Is it for me? Well, selective vision obstruction is part of natural vision improvement. Like I said, it's a master technique. And as a master technique, it basically covers the majority of the techniques that you will be learning throughout your journey. Not absolutely all of them, but the vast majority. And therefore, it works with any of your possible conditions, with nearsightedness, farsightedness, presbyopia, amblyopia, right? Lazy eye, squint, double vision, but also it helps, especially the peripheral development part of it, that helps for people with cataracts, with glaucoma, and with many, many other conditions, okay? Now, there are different types of selective vision obstruction. I will not go into too much detail, but let's cover at least the two big ones. The first one is binocular or double eye obstruction, and that is what we did today in the practice of peripheral vision. Okay, we were covering equal parts of both eyes, right? And then practicing with the uncovered parts. Now, binocular obstruction doesn't necessarily have to be equal. Sometimes you want to cover more of one eye and a little bit less of the other, right? Especially if you're working on eye activation. But in general, you are covering at least a portion of the vision field of both eyes. And for that, you are using shields that are for that purpose. So either the binocular shields that we were just using and we were showing you, or the Post-its, right? Or you are using some sort of other element like a central card, right? And I will jump out just for a second to show you. Right? You would be using a card that can be angled in various directions so that you can choose how much of the vision field you are covering at any given time. And this is particularly important for eye activation and eye coordination and balancing. Okay? Now the next type of selective vision obstruction is monocular, single eye, right? And as the name suggests, we are covering a portion of the vision field of one eye or the other. We could also cover the full vision field, like with a pirate patch, for example, right? That is not done very often, but there are moments in time in vision development and some conditions when covering with an eye patch fully so that the eye cannot see anything at all is helpful. In most cases, it is better to keep some of the vision field of the covered eye open to provide grounding and context, and usually it's the periphery that's open. But there are sometimes situations when you would want the whole eye covered. Now, again, it allows the unobstructed eye to do the one-on-one work with the brain. And that is very valuable, and that is what's being used for lazy eyes, for situations when two eyes have different acuity, or when you're learning certain skill, and it is kind of difficult for both of the eyes to learn that skill. So you want them to do it easily, and it's usually easier if each of them can do it separately. Okay, and for that, of course, you need some sort of shield, either a Post-it or another type of coverage that can cover one eye and then the other eye. Sometimes the singular shields can also be worn for longer time periods, right? In case of lazy eye or some other skill development, it can be helpful to have the eye covered for a little bit longer time period, but it has to be done in a careful manner and in a way when the other eye doesn't strain, okay? All right. So for the purpose of selective vision obstruction, I have developed a tool that I call the Clarity Eyesight Trainer. And the Clarity Eyesight Trainer, you can see it over here, and we will show it to you in a second in real life. It is ultimately a frame that has different shields, and those shields provide the various occlusions per definition by what you need, right? And the different occluders train different visual skills. So over here on this slide, you can see the five main ones, 3 for progressive development of peripheral vision, but also for other skills that require the binocular obstruction. And then, of course, you can see the left and right shield. Okay, now there are certain rules of selective vision obstruction, and one of the big rules is that your peripheral vision should stay open as much as possible. Okay, so you might have noticed, for those of you who were working with the Post-it and you placed the Post-it on top of your forehead, that when we tried to practice the upper peripheral activation, you were not able to see your hands, right? So you might have decided to move the shear down and try to hold it on the top of your nose or somewhere else, right? But you were not able to utilize and activate the upper periphery otherwise, right? And so for that purpose, the way the shields in the Clarity Eyesight Trainer are developed, they are all done with peripheral vision in mind, and they are open. I call it the 360-degree openness, because you can see up, you can see down, you can see to the sides, right? All of that space is open, and you're always only covering the areas that you really want to cover. The other benefit of the Eyesight Trainer is that it allows for kind of progressive development of the visual skills. And it allows it in a very consistent manner. So the shields are always the same, right? If you use a Post-it, you may place the Post-it sometimes more to the left, sometimes more to the right. Depending on what your dominant eye is, sometimes we tend to cover the dominant eye more than the other eye, and it's not always the same. And, you could think it's not such a big deal. And of course, you can work with it for sure. Now, what happens is, if you actually provide your eyes the consistency that these shields provide, right? They will always sit in the same spot on your face. They will always be the same size. Then when you develop your visual skills, you're eliminating the factor of another variable, right? It's already sometimes challenging, and you want to avoid as many variables as possible so that it is the easiest possible for the vision system to learn, right? And having consistent placement, consistent size of the shields can be quite helpful. And again, right, increasing the size is easy. And then, of course, we will show you how easy it is to also change the shields so that you don't waste any time doing it, and so that all the time you have for practice is actually spent on developing your vision skills, not on preparing your tools. All right. Another thing that we have heard from students over the years is that when they start to do certain activities, like developing peripheral vision with a ball, which I will actually show you as well in a moment, the the tools that we make at home, they start to slip, they start to fall off one's face. And so this particular trainer also prevents that in two different ways. It has silicone arm grips, and it has a head strap for those who want to use it. Like I said, it started in athletics, and for athletes, we actually do a lot of training on the field. And for that training, we need a lot of movement. So sometimes we try to make sure that we can actually attach the whole trainer to our faces so that the athletes can run or they can jump on a trampoline, right? A rebounder is something that is used in natural vision improvement as well. And so that's helpful on its own. And finally, the trainer is really nicely packaged. So instead of having a ton of different tools in a bag or a box, you have everything organized. There is space in the case for any other attachments. We do keep adding new things, and different students have different needs. And so there is space in there to kind of add a few things as well. All right. So what's in the trainer? A frame, 5 swappable shields, the headband, the protective case, and it also comes with a Clarity Gateway user guide that will explain everything you need to know about the trainer and what techniques to use it for. It kind of guides you through how to best leverage this tool in your vision training. And then, of course, Dr. Ainhoa is using all of these different techniques that the shields are for in her class, right? So that is really where you would be learning the best way and how to use them and how to leverage the tool as you progress in your journey.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
So I'm going to stop the share for a moment so we can actually show you the tool in real life.
So I have one limited edition that you did in pink. I don't know if you offer that anymore.
We actually offer the pink one right now, so it is out there in the store.
So orange or pink, it's really nice. It all fits in the box, indeed. I actually even put a little ball here and the Brock string, the cord. I don't think you've even talked about it. And it all fits in a very nice box. You open the box, and for example, I have my Brock string, my little ball for practice, the frame with the silicone on the side and the headband so it doesn't fall. And usually one of the shields is on. Well, now I just received the butterfly shield, so you can see how easy it is to put it on and off. It has some little magnets, so you just change it in a second. Yeah, and of course the box contains also the other shields that Irena was talking about for one eye, or the other, a bigger one, a much larger one. And there's this little pocket here where you can put the nose card holder and the nose cards. So all of these are Irena's items. The nose cards we're going to use to activate and relax the eyes differently. If you have a difference between one eye and the other, one that sees more and the other one that sees less, you're going to want to use the colder colors in the eye that already sees more usually, and you're going to want to activate the eye that sees less with the warmer colors. And this device that Irena has created to hold the cards, she's showing it, is amazing because when you do that with blue tack or Post-it notes on a frame, you cannot control the angle that you use to activate them selectively. So this is amazing. Are we going to be using all these tools? Yes, we are. You can also make them with homey stuff, like Post-it notes, like we said, this Brock cord you could do with a clothes, a string for attaching your shoes, or the string for attaching your clothes to dry, and you could use like pins for the clothes or things that you would put on your hair that have different colors. In the demonstrations that I do, when I get the general public, these are the tools I use, so people know they can do it with anything you have at home. But these tools are specially designed to be very effective for natural vision improvement. So again, it's your choice. If you'd like to collect like Post-it notes and a bunch of other things, you can do it. And a lot of this you probably already have at home, or you can create with scissors and cardboard and some glue and some something to glue things. But if you want something that is very easy, practical, at hand, and that can be very well kept, you may want to consider this. It's really high quality. They're very resistant. They don't break. I mean, they've been designed for athletes that are there running and jumping and everything. So I really love these tools. This is what I can say. Maybe there's questions and comments also that we may want to look in the chat. I don't know if you want to say something else. And everything's very neatly labeled, like this is for the right, it's for the left. You've really done a very beautiful job designing all these tools, Irena. Thank you, because your work does serve all community of natural vision improvement professionals. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, we've mentioned kind of a lot of the different things. So let me just kind of summarize it over here. Right. Outside of the main kit, the Clarity Eyesight Trainer, there are some attachments that we use for the development of the different scales. Like the nose card, we call it the field of view separator for eye activation, eye engagement, the Brock string, the training balls. The training balls, again, in natural vision improvement or any activities, you can use different balls. The difference for these is that they are underfilled, right? They are soft balls, they are underfilled. And when you do activities for natural vision improvement, you are using the balls, and when they fall, you don't want them to go anywhere. You don't want to be chasing tennis balls, right? So these are kind of easy to catch. They don't bounce. And so they're just easier. They have bright colors to engage the eyes and some other elements that make the learning a little bit easier, right? And speaking of balls, right, let me just show you how you can use balls, these or other balls, doesn't matter, for the development of peripheral vision, right? What you would do is you would simply place the post-it or the shield on the side of your face, right? And then you would start creating movement with the ball. You're still looking forward, you're creating movement on one side and on the other. I do have some students who can do it at the same time on both sides, but then you can also pass the ball underneath your face, right? It makes it a little easier than simply just shaking your hands all the time. And the best part is that it's actually more fun, right? So, and of course you can do it over your head and any other way you like, right? So that's what I wanted to mention. I actually wanted to teach it earlier and I forgot. So here we go.
And if the ball falls, you just take the opportunity for laughing and pick it up and continue. So
absolutely, and you can look at the ball as you're picking it up, so that, which is actually a technique on its own, where you're changing the distance at which you're looking. So it's kind of helpful in that way as well. All right. So that's the summary. And then, oh, this looks ugly. Okay, so, and then, because Dr. Ainhoa invited me here and many of you are new students, I wanted to offer you the opportunity to save a little bit of money if you decide to purchase any of these products for your vision training. And there was a code that was already listed in the inviting emails for this session. Maybe if we can post the code and the link in the chat for everybody, that would be great. And otherwise, there is going to be a follow-up. You will be able to get a discount with the code during the checkout process on the website to get these products.
I have a question. So I've put the links in the chat. Somebody mentioned that the links, which are exactly the same links that were on the email already, there was some issue with them. So if there was, we're going to check it to make sure that they work. I tested them yesterday before sending the emails, and they were working perfectly on my computer. But if you have any issues, you can also email to us and we'll figure it out. So,
the most important thing is that you use the coupon. Okay, if you use the coupon that we have, which is the ClearSight Method, CSM10P, CSM10P, that is going to give you the discount, right? So that's really important that you use that coupon during checkout.
I have a question. Is it 10% on the standard Clarity trainers, or is it 10% on anything they buy?
10% on anything they would like to purchase.
Okay. And now somebody was asking if the box comes with the things or if it's bought separately. So
Now, the box comes with it. So everything that you get when you receive the trainer is the frame, and then there's going to be one shield attached to the frame, and then there will be 4 more shields in the box, as well as the headband. Okay, so 5 shields, 1 frame, headband, and the case. And then some of the other attachments, like the nose guard attachment, right? That comes in a box on its own that looks like this, right? And when you open the box, there's going to be the 3 cards that Ainhoa was showing earlier, as well as this clip. So this clip and 3 cards will be in the box. Each card has 2 sides, 2 different colors. And so in totality, you will get 6 different colors so that you can choose which color you want to work with. There is no super science behind it, but we know that every single person is different. Every eye is different. And some eyes prefer pink and some eyes prefer green. And it is always the best when you start practicing with whatever the eye sees the easiest, right? And so that's why there are so many different colors so that you can choose, you can experiment. This is not a kind of one style fits all method, right? There is a lot of creativity, a lot of experimentation, and so you can experiment with which of the colors is the easiest for your eyes to see, and then you work with that, and then you can progress to the other colors that are perhaps a little bit more difficult over time.
Maybe you could show the shop and how to purchase it, because I'm getting more questions about what comes with what, and I think in your website it's beautifully explained, and then you could show at the same time like how to
Absolutely, yeah. Let me go ahead and exit.
Okay. Okay, so you want to share screen?
Yep. I was just trying to get to the right spot. Okay. So there we go. So when you get to the shop, can you see it?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. So when you get to the shop, you will land on this page. Okay. And you can see the Clarity Eyesight Trainer, the Field of View Separator, the balls, the Brock string. If you don't have the Clarity Eyesight Trainer and you want it, that's where you want to start. Okay. You will scroll down and you will select the color. We have shown you 2 colors today. One is orange and one is pink, right? Here you can see the 2 cases. Okay, so you will select the colors. So let's say that we select the pink, and you will select the quantity, right? Most of us only want 1, so don't play with it too much, just select 1, and then you add the item to cart. When you do that, you will notice that the cart over here on top of the page, right next to the button that reads Academy, right? Between the shop and the Academy, it changed from 0 to 1, okay? If you want any of the other items, you can just scroll down and click on these plus buttons. Just click once, right? You don't want more than that. So let me click on one of them. And it's going to add it to your cart. And now you see that it shows you that you have 2 items in your cart. Okay. If you want any of the other ones, again, you click on the plus buttons once, and then you go to your cart when you're finished. And you will double check that you have the items that you wanted and that you also have the quantity that you wanted. If by accident you ended up clicking more times on any of the buttons, you can adjust it right here. Just make sure that it reads 1 or whatever quantity you want. There is a plus button to add more, and on the left side there is a minus button to add to subtract ones, right? If I add 1, I can now subtract 1. All right. So again, just double check that you have only the items that you wanted in the right quantities, and then you go to checkout. You can go also to continue shopping if you forgot something. So let's go to checkout, and then the process is pretty standard at the checkout. You will enter your email address. You will then continue to delivery. There will be some acknowledgements, especially for those of you who are shipping abroad, right? If you are outside of the United States, there are a couple of things that I want you to be aware of so that you wouldn't be surprised, things that are connected with importing products from other countries. So you will read through that and you will just click the checkbox and then you will enter your information and go through the checkout process. You can put the discount code on the left side as you go down, or you can also enter it right here. So if I put the code in, ClearSight Method, CSM 10P, right? And I click apply, you're going to see that there is a discount showing now at the bottom. Okay. Very good. And I think that's it. And then you just finish the checkout process, right? We accept credit cards and we also work with PayPal. So whatever is easier for you is all good in the shop.
Yay. Thank you very much for the demonstration. I was seeing some questions about the code and where to apply the code, but you did show it. The code is
And there are two different places, right? There also, as you kind of start checking out and putting your information in on the left side, there's also an opportunity to enter the code there. So two different spots so that it wouldn't be missed.
So several people were asking if everything fits in the box, even when you buy separate things like the Brock string or the balls. Well, all three balls don't fit in, but you can fit one. Yes, you can fit one. You can fit the Brock string. You can fit the nose card holder. You can fit the cards. So yeah, and even in the future, when the butterfly shield will be available in the market, it also fits in here. Somebody was asking if the nose card holder works with other frames, and I'm saying no, because it has the magnets really designed to fit into the frame of the Clarity frame. Yeah,
the frame is magnetic, and so all of the shields, they have the same attachments and they all fit in the exact same spot, right? So you just click it in and then take it off as you need it.
Click it in and it holds with the magnets beautifully.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see what questions. Some people are asking about costs for shipping and customs in Europe, and import taxes and things like that. Because some general information about that.
Yes. So European shipping is $30 to ship it over, and then customs and imports are very different country to country. I think you need to plan on somewhere between 35 to 40 euros for customs, because it's not just customs duty, it's also value added tax. The prices in the US store, they do not include any tax. That is the way it works in the US, right? Which is unusual for Europe. In Europe, usually we display prices including those taxes, right? And so if you import the products over, that's what you're responsible for the value added tax and for the import taxes. So it is a little bit of a process. It has been working quite well for us ever since we launched, and we're hoping to be opening a European warehouse in the future so that we would be able to avoid this type of trouble for our European customers. But for now, this is the option that we have.
Okay, let's see. I'm seeing that some people are asking when the butterfly shield is coming, and if it's to wait for it, or rather buy the Clarity trainers now, so you can start practicing, and then whenever that's available, add it to the mix.
Yeah, and the butterfly shield is usually used a little bit later in the process of vision improvement. That's not something that people usually start with, because it's it's a tool that's more for eye engagement, eye balancing, and moving towards the 3D vision type of skills. And so that comes a little bit later. We will be launching it within pretty soon, actually, in what I call a soft launch, right? Because there are some shields where that everybody wants them, and there are some shields that you are not so sure. So we will have a limited quantity launch coming up within the next couple of weeks. And like I said, it's going to be a limited quantity, and we will see how that goes. It doesn't mean that we wouldn't have that shield later. We absolutely will. But we just didn't order very, very large quantities because it's difficult to understand which students have the needs and which students do not. So yeah, it's coming up, completely up to you.
Okay, some people are asking what are the balls for? Actually, when you're stimulating your peripheral visual field, whether it's with the monoshields or, I mean, for the covering one eye or partly both eyes, practicing with balls is very practical. There's many games that you can play. You could also do it with a tennis ball that you have at home, or a juggling ball, or a ball for the cats, or a stress ball. But the way Irena has designed these is very practical, specifically for vision improvement. Like she said, if they fall, they don't run someplace else, so they just stay put. Exactly.
It's not fell, but it's just rolled over.
Grab also. So you could do with any ball you have at home. But if you're going to get balls specifically to practice with the ClearSight method, they're a very good option.
They're also used for targeting, right? Throwing ball on target, which is one of the techniques that you would use for extension of visual clarity towards a distance, right? All sorts of different techniques like that. They are used for eye balancing and many other techniques. So balls are useful, they are fun, and they have variety of applications.
Yes. And the balls, you can choose to buy them or not. So
absolutely.
Yes, the main package is the box. The box comes with the package because they are asking a lot about the box. So the main package is the box with, not the ball, the box with the frame, with the band for the head, and 5 sheets. So 3 for
this is what you get when you order the Clarity Eyesight Trainer, and it's also described in the shop. So if you wanted to make sure, that is what's there, and you also get the access to the guide, right? I mentioned the Clarity Gateway guide that will make sure that you understand how to use the tools, when to use the different shields and stuff like that. It doesn't necessarily teach you all the techniques, because that's why you are learning from Dr. Ainhoa, but it does tell you when you should be reaching for this shield versus another shield, and how to make your vision improvement as effective as possible.
Yes, they're also asking about the string, the Brock's cord. So this is, you're going to have the use of this described in the ClearSight method in one of the advanced modules. Yeah, so it's coming, but towards the end of the course. It will train you to focus at different distances, to balance the eyes, that they participate the same, and also for binocularity, for being aware that what each eye sees is not exactly the same, and the brain puts together the information, making fusion. So this is what the cord is used for. The practices with it are slightly tiring. They can be fun, so you need to do a lot of relaxation, a lot of palming, and that's why they also come towards the end of the course. Again, you can do purchasing the string from Irena, and it's very practical because it has several different colors and you can move them very easily. But you could also solve this with things that you maybe have for your hair with colors, or pins for the clothes, and a string for your shoes, or a string for hanging clothes. So again, you have choices. And if you get these, they also fit in the box really nicely. So yeah.
The benefit of this particular brush string, it is 10 feet long. And the
Yes.
benefit is that the beads are stoppable, right? Usually when we, and you have not done it yet, but usually when we work with a Brock string, we ask you that it's placed under an angle. And if you have beads that have too big of a hole, for example, they may be sliding. So this is a prevention of the sliding. It controls where the beads are and they stay, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm holding it vertically. So that's the benefit. Otherwise, yeah.
And the fact that
The
it's
purpose is the same.
yeah, and the fact that it's such a long string, well, you can attach it to a door handle and then keep one of the extremities to your nose. You could play with someone else, so each person is holding it to their nose, right? So anyway, you can play with it in different ways. The hows and the whys and the whats are explained in the ClearSight method, but the tool is really very well designed for the purpose. Do these tools replace all of the do-it-yourself ones listed in module 1? They replace most of them. So there's a couple of things that aren't in the box yet, like, so pinhole glasses are in development by Irena. The anaglyphic glasses that have like blue and red for each eye, they're not yet, I think they're in development, or maybe not, because you can find them very cheaply. I don't know what you're
Right.
doing.
Yeah, they're not developing the blue and reds because you can really buy them very easily, and they have limited usage, right? They're very helpful for a certain amount of time. So we don't have them yet. It doesn't mean that we will never have them.
Yes, and also there's things like using the inside of paper towels, like those rolls. I can, that probably does not worth for Irena to develop that, and it wouldn't fit the box. But you can get that at home. I mean, if you buy paper towel, you'll get those. So, but most of the most important tools are really in here. So it's a really good.
What we focus on are the tools that are usually either difficult to make, you know, like the nose card. It always fell off of the blue tag, and it's just so cumbersome that people give up the training rather than dealing with the tools, right? And so we have been focusing on those tools that lack consistency, or that are difficult to make at home, or they are difficult to use after you have made them at home, right?
Yeah.
And then some of the tools, you know, the Brock string, there is a little bit of kind of benefit of the beads not falling off or not sliding on their own. But we mostly actually introduced the Brock string because we have been asked for it. So that is not the highest tech item, right? Like Dr. Ainhoa said, you can make your own, but sometimes we get asked for things, and if we can, then we tend to oblige and do them.
By the way, these are the tubes we were talking about. Yeah, so you get these from inside a paper towel roll. You don't need. I mean, it wouldn't make sense for Irena to develop this, right? So you get it from the rolls. But yeah, they are asking if the tools ship from the US. Yes, right. Your main
Yes.
warehouse is in Ohio. I would.
Yes, they currently ship from Ohio. Yes.
Okay. Now, a couple of people are mentioning that when they clicked on the links, they had some warning messages. So I'm a bit surprised, but I've seen a couple of messages of people texting about that.
And you
So
know, it has been happening on computers, because it actually happened to me right when I was trying to join this call. So I am
okay.
not sure whether something's going on right now, but if you have troubles like getting in, the website is absolutely safe. It is run by one of the biggest companies that run our websites and stores in the US. So you don't have to be worried about any of it. Our shop is protected by Stripe, which again is like one of the absolute largest credit card processing companies. And so all of that is safe. If you cannot get in for whatever reason, just try to use the incognito window of your browser, but or try a little bit later. Sometimes it's clearing the cache that is the issue, which, you know, is taking us to a little bit more technical stuff, and I don't want to scare anyone, but maybe just try it again, or try on your phone instead of a computer or something like that. But I can guarantee you that the website is safe, and so is the processing of the payments.
And there's been already hundreds of people purchasing these trainers. I mean, even just from my community, last time we checked, it was over 500 people, and I've only heard people be happy about them. So depending what country you're in, there may be, again, a little bit of things to handle with taxes and customs. But other than that, Irena always makes sure that the box gets to the person who purchases them. And the tools are a delight, really a delight.
Well, thank you very much. I know, yes, we do have a lot of clients, and for the most part, right, everything goes well. And when it doesn't, I kind of pride myself in very high quality customer service. So it's important to me. I didn't, I made these tools for people who are thinking out of the box, who are doing things a little bit differently, who have the courage to take their eyes into their hands. And so I want to make sure, no matter what, that if you decide to work with our tools, then that you have them and that they function the way they should.
Okay. What is the approximate time to receive shipment in the US?
Oh, we usually ship within a couple of days. So yeah, so within a week, I would say, like I said, we ship from Ohio. So depending on how far from Ohio you are, it may take, a few days, but I would say within a week, you should have your product no matter where you are. And it goes pretty quickly to Canada also. Europe obviously takes a little bit longer, but we currently see about 2 week shipment time to Europe. So yeah.
Okay, on the shipment, somebody's asking the time to Montreal, Canada, if you would have a reference for that.
Yeah, for Canada, usually within a week, it's almost the same as the US. It depends a little bit on how quickly customs clear the product. The shipping to Canada right now is $21, I think, or $22. Yeah, and then you should expect about 35 to 40 Canadian for all the extra import charges.
Okay, someone is asking if we're just around the house, can we wear the central vision blocker just doing our daily routine instead of specifically doing the exercises waving fingers? You can do.
So my answer there would be, you do not want to be just walking around with the central vision blockers. Okay, you need to be safe. You need to be in a controlled environment, and you can, however, use them to develop your peripheral vision in a passive way, right? So there are different ways to do it. For example, if you're riding in a car as a passenger, right? Somebody's driving, you're on the side, you can place the shield on, look forward, and just pay attention of all the movement that's happening to you when you're sitting in the car. Or you can turn you can turn your television on and have something that moves all the time, right? Like a ball game, football game, soccer game, something that creates a lot of movement. And then you place your shield on, you sit sideways. It doesn't have to be like completely 90 degrees, but you want to make sure that the television is in your vision field. And then you just look forward and you're paying attention of the movement that the television provides. Or you can put them on and sit on a bench in a park and just kind of let people walk by and cars drive by and develop your peripheral vision that way. So there is a lot of application, but I would say, with athletes, we actually do use them on the fields. We have specialized training where they use them in movement, but I would not recommend that for a kind of general public, and especially not if you don't have a coach present, if you're not supervised, because safety is the most important thing. So I would say yes, for that particular shield, you don't want to use it around the house. The mono shields, that's a different story entirely. The nose guard you can use for longer wear, but the binocular shields that cover your whole central vision, you do not want to do that.
Yeah, the nose guard you could be wearing almost any time because you're aware.
Absolutely.
And as long as you are safe, again, safety first, you could also be doing things with one eye or the other eye.
Yes.
Now, some people are asking, when are we going to use what tools in the ClearSight method? So I need to be a bit specific about that. So the pinhole glasses, we already advise you to get ones, even the simple cheap pairs that you can buy on Amazon or online as soon as possible. These you're going to be using, you want to be using them as soon as possible, because they also in many opportunities can replace the glasses you are using up to now. And for vision improvement, you want to spend as much time as reasonably possible. Again, safety first, and you want to be functional, but you want to wear the prescription and reading glasses as little as possible. So these are a good alternative and a good training tool. And also they help you as you progress. Now, this week, we're starting the physical level. And for the physical level, you're going to want either to use Post-it notes or the shields that Irena is offering. Or you can make with a cardboard or with tissue something to block one eye or the middle, right? And to make it larger and larger. There's descriptions in the ClearSight method how you could make them yourself. But if you don't want to be doing handicrafts and creating tools, etc., well, this kit solves that. And you'll need a ball. Again, you could have any kind of ball. It could be the cat's ball or the dog's ball. It could be a stress ball. It could be tennis ball, not golf. I think that's a bit harder, but any kind of ball that you can easily grab on your hand and it doesn't hurt when you grab it. And Irena's design is very, very nice. Now, later on, towards the end, we're going to be using the nose card. So if you get Irena's, it will fit in the frame and you'll have different colors. If you want to do it yourself, you could use some glue tack or some system to attach some colored cards to an old frame of old glasses. So there's a do-it-yourself solution. But as Irena was saying, they may fall and you will not be able to control the angle at which you're holding the cards. So these we're going to be using it towards the end of the course in one of the last modules. The Brock string cord we're also going to be using towards the end. And then there's a few other things like the rolls. And by the way, toilet paper is too short. So we really want the paper towel rolls. That's also coming towards the end. So I hope that explains for when are we going to use what. Now, do we need to use the pinhole glasses? Again, a lot of this is not like all or nothing. Different people may have different needs. If you can be without your glasses and be safe and functional right now, maybe the pinhole glasses are an option, but you don't need to get them. You could also create pinhole glasses with a Kleenex box and cutting it and poking holes in it. Maybe you don't want to go to the street with that or to a job interview, right? But you can use it at home and it will be functional. So the pinhole glasses are recommended. Can you improve your eyesight naturally without pinhole glasses? Of course you can also. So see for yourself where your need is and then you can make your choices, yeah? Now, if you have, I don't know, minus 29 degrees of myopia, nearsightedness, well, you want the pinhole glasses, but probably you will also want to be reducing the prescription progressively. So different people may need slightly different things. If you have doubts about your case, you can write an email to us and we'll be very happy to answer personally to you. Yes. But for the most part, pinhole glasses are a very useful tool. And I'm so looking forward to having Irena develop her own, because I know they're going to be exquisitely crafted and very, very precise. Yeah. Do you want to say a word about those future developments, Irena? Or
Yeah, so we have a couple things. I don't want to give any timeline, Ainhoa, because I know that I have gotten burned a couple times because product development, unfortunately, is not always as streamlined as we would like it to be. I am trying to send a chat to everyone. How do I do that? Meeting group chat?
Yeah, group chat. That should be it.
I wanted to post the link for everybody how they can get to the shop. All right, so yes, so we're definitely working on pinhole glasses. We have been working on those for a while. Those are actually a tool that we thought would be developed really quickly, but we don't just want to make pinhole glasses that are the same as everything that is out there. I kind of tend to pride myself in making things better and making them really in line with all the requirement of natural vision improvement, right? And so introducing a tool that's already out there is you can just go and buy it. And so our pinhole glasses will have certain functionality that the current products on the market do not have. And the production itself has shown itself is kind of much more difficult. It's more complicated than what we thought in order to preserve the visual properties, right? And in order for generating the right refraction that happens through as you look through the pinholes, it has to be done in a specific way and it has to be very precise. And yeah, so it's in development. I don't have a date for it, but that is something we have been asked for so long, and we have tried and failed a few times. So hopefully we're closer. So we're working on those. The butterfly shield announcement is going to go out within the next couple of weeks. And then yeah, those are probably the two that are coming up in the nearest future. We are developing other ideas, but I think it's probably too early to speak about them.
Okay. Well, thank you for the update anyway. I'm so looking forward to seeing those. But in the meantime, the clarity trainers, as they are, they're really, really helpful. And yeah, I love your designs. Thank you so much again for doing this work for the sake of all the community of natural vision improvement professionals. Can we use the code to buy the butterfly shield in the future? Or how long will the discount code be working for our community? And can people place several orders and use the discount code for several orders? I'm seeing that question come also.
Okay, so the discount code is valid through this Thursday, February 20th.
Okay, so for 3 days.
Yes, and that's a good question about the validity. I think that it is valid for one purchase.
Okay, so you would want to put everything in the cart at once?
Yes, you would.
Okay. Or if you're going to split for whatever reason the purchase in two, then use it for the bigger part. Yeah. In the second one, the cheaper objects then.
Now, let me say one thing, Ainhoa. We like to treat our existing customers as well as we can. I don't believe on treating only people who are new to the business, right? And then forgetting the others. So I would say that we mostly treat our current existing customers better than customers who are coming in. And for that reason, if you're worried, let's say, about the butterfly shield, I'm sure there are going to be some sort of offers or something for those people who are already in. I always do that. I've always done it with every new launch. So if you would be hesitating and thinking, well, I don't want to purchase now because I want to wait for the next shield to get my discount, there is going to be an offer with a launch to existing customers only.
So you have more advantages if you become a customer now than if you wait until the next launch to buy for the first time.
That's what I would say.
Yes. Okay. That's good to know. Well, I have been for a number of years now, but for people who are here today for the first time, don't wait then for the butterfly to come out, because you may not even know that it's coming out if you're not already a customer. So get the clarity trainers now so that you can be aware of the butterfly shield and other things, and you'll have discounts and advantages. Okay, so we have about 10 more minutes, then I'll have to jump into another call. actually with Kelly Brogan, for those that have come from her community. So if there's any final question lingering or any final message that you would like to share with the community, Irena, or people who are here, you are welcome to express now.
Yeah, I just would like to say a couple things. First of all, think about, just to kind of summarize what we have been through, right? I want to encourage you to think about your eyes holistically. Think about them. There are obviously many different facets of natural vision improvement, but even as you just think of the eye itself, remember what you have learned today. Remember how impactful it was to expand your vision field. It does provide a lot of information to the totality of the visual system. And so try to incorporate even very short practice of or engagement of the periphery into your everyday practice as you develop your routine, as you progress through the whole class that you're taking with Dr. Ainhoa. Okay. And then when it comes to the tools are only as good as their usage. You always want to make your learning as easy as possible, as effective as possible, and also as efficient as possible, right? So if you start feeling like, well, I'm spending so much time doing something that's not working, or you're spending your time on tasks that are not really leading towards your better vision, that's where you want to stop and kind of reconsider of how you're learning and whether there could potentially be a different way of approaching it. So I'm going to leave it with that. I have enjoyed your group very much. You guys have been wonderful. And I hope that I have brought some value to you. I hope that I have taught you things that you will be able to use from today forever. Right? Don't be worried that sometimes the field of view shrinks a little bit and we have to expand it again, but that is just the nature of vision, that is variable and it doesn't always stay exactly the way we want it. And we all know that we need to commit to the process and do the things a few times to get the best possible benefits. And you have the best teacher in front of you to guide you through it. So thank you so much for having me. If anyone has any questions, there is a connect link on the bottom of my website. So just scroll down. And if you have questions about the trainer, and you're just not certain about certain things that were discussed, I am happy to answer you. So go ahead and just click on the link, email me, and we will sort everything through. So thank you so much for having me. Thank you for being great students today. And yeah.
Thank you very much, Irena. On the contrary, thank you for the work you've been doing, developing these tools, for the wisdom and the knowledge you're bringing to the group today with your class. And I'm reading other people in the chat also thanking you. It was a very informative and fun class. Yeah, it's always a pleasure to have you come to the community. And the last recommendations that Irena said are absolutely relevant. Your eyesight will relax and your central vision will become better as you improve also your peripheral view, as paradoxical as that may seem. So these practices are very helpful. And by the way, some people are asking about the next call with Kelly Brogan. That's actually a conversation just between the two of us, among other things, to celebrate that so many of you are here, but it's not like a class or an interview or something like that. Again, thank you everyone for coming here today. Thank you, Irena, for offering your work to us. And for ClearSight Method students, we're going to be, oh, I forgot to mention something very important. We're going to have an extra session this Friday, 1 hour earlier than usual, in the usual link, that is going to be about research. At the International Center for Vision Coaching, we're starting a new line of research, and we would like to invite participants of Generation 12 of the ClearSight Method to participate. And if you do, you could be eligible to get a free book, probably one of the anthology books, but you will have the choice between 2 or 3, right? So come this Friday to discover how you could be part of a research on natural vision improvement, and also to have special follow-up so you can keep improving your eyesight even more than previous generations who didn't get this. So voila, sorry, I wanted to have done this announcement earlier when there was more people, but completely forgot. I was so pleased by Irena's presentation. So it comes in the end. So if you have other friends and among the participants, you can tell them. Of course, we'll tell by WhatsApp and by email. Again, Irena, thank you so, so much. And I'll be very happy to invite you again next time. So ClearSight Method participants will be seeing each other on Friday, 1 hour earlier than usual. And we also have our standard classes. The next one is March the 3rd on Monday, and so on. So everyone, take care, be happy, enjoy the beauty of life, and we'll be seeing each other soon and better. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you for having me.